Algebra 1, so let's try this again with me actually turning the sound on. Okay, so today we're doing 2.1 multi-step equations. At the top I have the steps to solve, so it says distribute if needed. Second step is to combine like terms, and then the third step is to isolate the variable and actually solve to get an answer. So I'm going to do a few of the examples, and then I ask that you guys finish them before tomorrow. Finish the rest. Okay, so we're going to start with something pretty easy like number 1. And we are going to first distribute. We have nothing to take outside the parentheses and multiply n, so we can skip that step and move straight on to step 2, which is combining like terms. So like terms in this case would be the 9x and the subtract 7x, which is 2x. You have plus 1 and minus 5, which is negative 4, and that equals negative 20. Okay. From here we have nothing left to combine, so we're going to do step 3 and solve. So first you would add 4. 4's cancel, and you're left with 2x equals negative 16. Undo the multiplication by dividing. And so x equals negative 8. So hopefully this is a review for you. Going to number 2. Now we do have the distributive property, which is represented with the parentheses. So I'm going to take whatever is on the outside of the parentheses, so in this case negative 7, and I'm going to multiply it or distribute to both terms. So negative 7 times 3a is negative 21a. And negative 7 times negative 1 is a positive 7. And I'll bring down the 91. Okay, now we're ready to solve. This plus 7 needs to be subtracted. You'll have negative 21a equals 84. Then you're going to divide by negative 21. Okay, and so then our answer should be a equals a negative 4. Okay, moving along, let's go ahead and skip down to number 3. This reads 4m subtract 5 and then the stuff in the parentheses, and that subtract 5 is really the distributive property with a negative 5. So I'm going to take negative 5 times 3m, which is negative 15m. Again, take negative 5 times a positive 10, which is negative 50. And then I'm going to bring everything else down. Okay. Now we need to combine like terms. So I have 4m subtract 15m, which is negative 11. And I'll bring everything else down. Okay, keep going and solve it. You would add 50, which gives you 176. Alright, last step is divide. So m equals negative 16. Okay, so number 4 is kind of what was on a previous quiz, and it was definitely on your test. But now we need to solve because we have an equal sign. All right, so we're going to take the negative 3 and distribute, and the negative and distribute to the k and the 5. So let's start this off. Negative 3 times k is negative 3k. And negative 3 times a negative 8 is positive 24. Okay, this negative sign in between is really a negative 1. So I'm going to distribute a negative 1 to the k to get negative k. And a negative 1 to the positive 5, which is negative 5, which equals 23. Okay, from here, we're on step 2. We will combine like terms. So we have negative 3k, minus k is negative 4k. I have positive 24, subtract 5, which is positive 19. Nothing left to combine, so now you're going to solve. Oops, subtract 19. So you get 4 equals negative 4k. Divide each side by negative 4. So in this case, k equals negative 1. Okay. I would like you guys to do 5, 6, and 7, and I will gladly do the fractions for 8 and 9. So for number 8, we're still going to distribute. The best thing about the fraction half is you're just going to split the numbers in the parentheses in half. You don't have to worry about cross products or cross simplifying or anything like that. 1/2 times 10 is just saying what is half of 10, which is 5. Again, 1/2 times a negative 2, half of 2 is negative 1. And then you just need to bring everything down. Okay, oops, single sign. Alright, from there, we're going to combine like terms. So 5x plus 3x is 8x. Drop down the minus 1 and the negative 25. Okay, from there, you would add 1. We have negative 24 equals 8x. Divide by 8. And so write your variable first. X equals negative 3. More fractions. So for number 9, you can do the cross cancel, or you can set it up how I am used to. So let's show you. Okay, so you can take these two and multiply them. So take negative 5 times 8, which you know is negative 40. Then you divide by what's in the bottom, and you would get negative 20r. Same thing here. Take negative 5 times 6, so in your head that is 30, divided by 2 is a positive 15. So what I did there was I took negative 5 times 8 and then I divided by 2, and that's how I got negative 20. Then I took negative 5 times negative 6 divided by 2, and that is how I got a positive 15. If you're confused on that, you can ask me tomorrow. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay, drop everything else down. Alright, now we're ready to combine like terms. So we have 7 plus 15, which is 22. I have negative 20 plus 2r, which is negative 18r. And that equals 32. Right, from there, you're going to solve it by subtracting 22. And we have negative 18r equals 10. Divide each side by the negative 18, and we're going to have a fraction as an answer. So these are both divisible by 2. I'm going to simplify it to have a negative 5 over 9. Alright, so the bottom is combining what we learned last chapter and this chapter so far. So we have to write our equation and then solve. So we have 5 times the difference of twice a number and 3. So there's 5. When they say difference, that means subtraction. Twice a number would be 2n and 3. Decreased by is subtraction. Sum would be n plus 8, and that equals 13. And from there we need to solve. So we're going to distribute for both. 5 times 2n is 10n. 5 times negative 3 would be negative 15. Remember, this sign right here really is a negative 1. So I'm going to distribute that to have negative n, and then a negative 8, and that equals 13. Okay, now we're ready to combine like terms. 10n subtract 1n is 9n. Negative 15 subtract 8 is negative 23. And that equals 13. And from here we're ready to solve. Add 23. We should get 36. I'm running out of room here. Okay. The last step would be to divide by 9. So n equals 4 in this case.